So can you guess what's been the most tasty tomato and prolific tomato varieties I've grown in my garden this year? Well, if you're interested to find out, stay tuned. Hey folks, welcome back to another episode of Growing Some Louisiana History with me, your host David Hubbell, and this week I'm going to talk about two of the most tasty and prolific tomatoes that I grew in my garden this year, the Louisiana All Seasons and the Pelicans. I also want to thank everybody who's already taken the time to subscribe to the David J. Hubbell YouTube channel. If you haven't done so, all you gotta do is click the subscribe button and click that bell to be alerted to all upcoming videos I'll be doing on my Louisiana garden and my Louisiana kitchen. By far, my favorite tomato this year has been the Louisiana All Seasons. I've grown it in the past, but for whatever reason, this year they've really come out juicy and really flavorful. Now, the Louisiana All Seasons were released about 1949 to 1950, and they're a cross between the Louisiana Pink and the Old Break-A-Day. They were developed by the LSU Experiment Station led by Dr. Julian C. Miller, Sr. 89-day to maturity tomato, indeterminate, good for high temperatures and growing conditions, resistant to fusarium wilt. Reported to put on the first wave early and the second wave a little bit later, and they're suggested to be good in the fall too. They're listed to be 4 to 16 ounces in weight, pink in color, juicy, oblate, globe shaped, and recommended for home and commercial garden. Now, the most prolific tomato I've got in my garden has been these Louisiana Pelicans, and as I explained in the first video, they aren't what I thought. These are more of a Pelican cherry tomato. But anyway, nonetheless, they've put on with two plants, give you more tomatoes than you can deal with. And to me, they're one of the best tasting cherry tomatoes around. I believe if they're related to the Pelican, that they would be released back around the 1970s. And this was bred by an LSU team led by Dr. P. Hernandez. And these were a 70-day to maturity tomato, indeterminate, good for high temperatures, growing conditions, resistant to cracking, fusarium wilt, and nematodes. And they're about 8 ounces in shape. Well, not these because they're cherries, but they're red in color and globe shaped. And they're recommended for home gardening and commercial gardens in the fall. So let's go check these out in the garden. This is where I had the Louisiana All Season, somewhere in here. But like I said, everything's so overgrown it's hard to really tell. So here are the Louisiana Pelicans, and they are growing all over the garden. And they just seem to keep growing and growing, and even in July they're still putting on flowers. They are by far the most prolific of my tomatoes. And if you can get these Louisiana cherry pelicans, I recommend them. So now the most important part, we're going to go check them out in the kitchen and see how they taste. So this is Louisiana All Season. I've got two examples here. They've been picked probably about a week or so. As I say, I always try to pick these when they're in their light, when they're blushing, if you will. But you can see the shape. This is 5 ounces. This one has been picked a while. You can see the top's turned, is 9. This one's got just a little slight blemish on the bottom, so hopefully that won't be a big deal. But just to give you an idea of the size, it's almost a 3-inch diameter across, and maybe 2 inches tall. So it's kind of like a flattened globe. And the smaller one is maybe 2.5 across, about maybe 1.5, 1.75 tall. So let's clean the big one up and see what it tastes like. So you can see how beautiful and juicy this All Season is. It's got a lot of overall juiciness. You can see probably not what I'd call real firm, but it's firm enough. I mean, this is really good for like salads and sandwiches. Let's try the taste. What I like about this one is it's got a little acidity and sweetness, but I think it's really well balanced. think this might be my favorite Louisiana variety I've tried. I've been growing them for years, but unfortunately I haven't always kept up with which one was which, because as you see in the other videos, how overgrown my garden gets, it's sometimes hard to distinguish what has done what I'm picking at times. But since I've been doing these videos this summer, I've been able to really discern a little bit better. So definitely going to recommend you try to get some all season to plant in your garden. I'm gonna have a tomato sandwich now. All right, so what I've got here is a beautiful bowl of the Louisiana Pelican cherry. Like I said, when I originally bought these, I intended them to be the Pelicans, which is the only thing I saw. And the description from the 70s to what I actually grew was quite different. As you can see, these are what I call cherry tomato. I've got some good examples out there on the vine, so they look like a good cluster. They usually do pretty well, and they've really done well this year. So what I like about these, you'll see in a second, is that they're pretty much red all the way through when they're ripe, and they're really great for snacking or in a salad. So let's try them out. Now, despite what I say about trying to peel my tomato skins, obviously I don't worry about it with these. So you can see from here, they might be just about an inch diameter and an inch deep. Very globe shape. And you can see they're very red all the way through. Sometimes I find that when I get like a Sweet 100 or something, it stays green all the way, but these to me have always been pretty good. Very good tomato taste. I mean, tastes like a tomato, not like anything else. Not much acidity, but a little more sweetness. But definitely, if you like cherry tomatoes, see if you can go to the Seed Savers page and find the Pelican cherries to buy. You won't regret it. So there you go, folks, the Louisiana All Season and the Louisiana Pelican cherry. This information has been helpful to you. Please consider giving it a like and a thumbs up, and share it with all your tomato loving friends, whether they like them big or small. These tomatoes will do the trick for you. If you haven't already done so, please subscribe to the David J. Hubbell YouTube channel by just click that subscribe button and hit the alert bell to be alerted to all upcoming videos I do on my Louisiana garden or my Louisiana kitchen. Thank you again. I appreciate you tuning in, and I will see you next week.